This podcast is brought to you by Rebecca Cassells of the Rising Dawn series. Do you like violence? Do you like smut? Are you tired of the stereotypical novels of werewolf romance out there and want something a little bit different? Then pick up Sparked Revolution, Book 1 in the Rising Dawn series by Rebecca Cassells. Available on Amazon, in Kindle and paperback. You too can become a sponsor of Stories, the True and the Fictional by heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/STTATF or follow the link in the show notes. Hello guys and welcome to a very special episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional. It's an early one for us, Ryan. How are we going?
Good, mate. Living the dream as always. Just kicking back. Just happy to be on nice and early. I'm fresh and ready to go.
Ready to go. And yes, we will be playing Dungeons and Dragons after we record this episode.
Yeah.
Yes. All the guys go, whoo. Yeah. This is going to be weird saying, please remember to check out our sponsor, Rebecca Cassells, when she's about to jump on. But if you don't want to, check out Martin Kearns, because he writes some great urban fantasy. And then, I got a book out. It's over there, Ancora. Check it out. Apparently it's good.
It is really good.
And I've actually started it.
Oh no. I'm working on the prequel at the moment. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm having a lot.
And I wanted the prequel yesterday, so hurry up.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get this interview over so I can start on it.
Yes.
No. Well,
That shows.
You've heard the voice. We're bringing her in. How are we, Rebecca Cassells?
I'm good, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm excited to be back with you guys. It's been a while.
It has. We seem to be stolen your husband more than you.
You've replaced me with my husband. Not fair. We actually had this argument today. I said they were my friends first.
Yeah, well, it's official. I think I've been on more episodes with your husband than I have with you, so that's showing that he's actually taking over.
Yeah.
He has a way of how do I put this without sounding like the jealous wife? I can't. There's no way. He has a way of stealing things from me. My kids' affection, my time, my love, my money, and now you guys.
Well, I'll have to change the opening ad to, pick up Neil's wife's books.
Although when we did the Ancora episode, he did a great job of plugging your books for you. So he definitely is working hard to promote your stuff. So I can't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got him trained well.
He's only got onto social media for you, Jamie. I hope you know that.
Oh, jeez.
You unleashed him onto X.
I hope he's enjoying my scammer of the day episodes.
Yeah. He's loving that. He's loving that. I just don't like the fact that I have to monitor him now.
Well, I love that he's got, what his banner above his exit profile, and it says something like, like you're monitoring him pretty much. But this isn't the Neil Cassells podcast.
No.
We we got a second round of icebreakers that you've never done, because I think you've only been on twice, but the second time you were on, it was to argue Star Trek with Chris.
I've been on 3 times, and the first time was an accidental argument over which Final Fantasy. It was supposed to be me talking about my books,
but
ended up with being an argument between me and Chris about what was the best Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
And then we argued about Star Trek.
All right, okay. So does that mean?
Okay. Now I wasn't there for that question, and I am a big Final Fantasy lover. What is in your opinion the best one?
7.
Yep, done. We're locked in. Chris's favorite is 8. He will say, I'm guessing he argued about 8.
I crucified him for
it.
Yeah. 8 is very good, but 7 for me was a childhood one. It was the first Final Fantasy game I'd ever played. And I remember getting it on Christmas morning and spending all of Christmas avoiding my family playing Final Fantasy VII. So, yes, I can agree with that.
Excellent. Does this mean you've done these icebreakers, these second rounds?
No, no,
Oh, you haven't.
no, I haven't.
That's what I was worried about.
No, I haven't done these ones.
Okay. Excellent. So it's not all in vain. All right, Ryan, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? How do you want to do it?
You can go first today, mate. I went first last time.
Okay. Simply put, what did you want to be when you grew up, Rebecca?
The answer to this depends on who you ask. If you ask my mother, she'll embarrass me and tell you all that I wanted to be a lollipop lady.
Oh.
But she forgets that was for all of like a minute when I was about 3, 4 years old, and I thought lollipop lady meant you actually got lollipops. But she loves telling everyone.
Now, can I just confirm if a lollipop lady is the same thing as it is over here? Is that someone who stands at a school crossing and lets kids pass? Okay, cool. Just checking.
Yes, it is. Then for about a year, I wanted to be a vet. And then after that, the dream plan was to become an artist.
Okay.
World famous, world renowned artist. I love drawing. It started with my love of drawing anime. I used to copy a lot of anime growing up, and then high school. I had the best art teachers on the planet, Mr. Moran. If you ever listen to this, mwah, best teacher ever. He always just inspired me because I remember one project where we were supposed to make these little tiny dragons like this big, but for me that was not enough. Mine ended up being the full size of an adult, flying, wings, everything.
Nice.
And it ended up being stuck up on the ceiling of the art room. I never took his projects to the brief. I went way above them. And that was because he would let me go into the art rooms every day and just work on art every day, all day. I was in that room, paper macheing this dragon for about half a year. And then he just gave me the confidence to carry on with it. So yeah, very young lollipop lady, then a vet until someone told me that if you're a vet, you have to treat snakes. And then artist.
Yeah.
I think every kid at one stage wanted to be a vet. I know I did. And then I found out it's not only just getting to see puppies and cats and stuff, you have to deal with the other side of it as well, like in terms of loss. And then I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that anymore. So
I mean, my 3 kids who, 3 of the 4 who are old enough to, understand what a job is now. My daughter's I don't know how an 11-year-old's got a whole life plan sorted, but she has. She knows exactly what she wants to do. She wants to be a SEN teacher during the day for a primary school, preferably year 6 class. And then by an evening, she wants to be a dance coach, like dance coaches for her now, whilst also competing professionally. So she knows exactly what she wants to do. Then my oldest son, who's 8, has obviously watched too much Jurassic Park with Neil and wants to be a paleontologist. And then Franklin, 7, for the past 3 years, has been obsessed with becoming a police officer.
Okay.
Absolutely obsessed. To the point where he asks at least once a day, Mummy, when I grow up, can I be a police officer? I said, as long as you're one of the good ones, yeah.
There you go. There you go. It's different when I can remember all these different careers I wanted to do when I was young, and then by the time you get to the end of high school, and you're already sort of influenced by the real world, kind of, it all kind of changes, and you're like, well, I don't really, I'm just going to go into something more achievable. Not saying a teacher and a police officer is not achievable, but for me, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go into IT. It's what I know. It's what I do. And then spent 4 years at uni and never used that degree once, except for personal use. So
Mm.
it's very strange how, you've got all these wide-eyed aspirations when you're young, and then life kind of grabs you a little bit, and it just squeezes you just a little bit. But I look, by doing IT, I went into customer service, and I spent 25 years in customer service, and they were 25 of the best years of my life. So um, it got me into something that I truly loved, and will be getting back to within a year. So yeah, it leads somewhere. It works its way.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
works its way out in the end.
I haven't exactly made it as a famous artist. That's for definite sure. I can paint. I've got a degree.
Yeah.
I know how to work a brush and everything. But as I work in the care industry now. It's changed a little
Hmm.
bit since our last interview. I'm not a care coordinator anymore.
All right.
I'm now
Okay.
a patient coordinator for an eye hospital. So I actually get to see people's eyeballs get cut open now.
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
and they're awake for it. Sorry,
Wow.
I need to when I play this video back, I need to freeze frame Jamie's face. Then that was amazing. His reaction, seeing someone's
Ah,
eyeball get the fluid sucked out by a tiny little
uh,
needle, and
This
hearing
is
the
this
pop
is
when all the fluid's gone.
this is probably why
It's amazing.
I've never been. I'm glad I've never been to a hospital in like since I was born.
well, in you saying that, Rebecca, I actually have to go and have that done in my eye in the next couple of weeks. I've actually got a little bit of a hemorrhage at the back of this eye here, and I went to the hospital, and they said, yeah, we're just gonna bring you in, put you under, and do exactly what you just said. So now I know what to look forward to.
At least they're putting you under, though. Here,
Yeah.
we do it all awake.
Oh God. Yeah.
We do it all under local.
I said that I remember when they took when I had to have my big toe amputated, they say, "Oh, we'll just give you a local and we'll keep you awake for it." I said, "Nope." I said, "No, thanks." And they said, "No, you were going to cover the area." I said, "Nope." I said, "You put me under because I can't keep my foot still anyway. I'll be moving around and they'll accidentally, chop something else off." So I said, "No, put me under." And I asked the eye specialist, "Are you able to put me under?" And they said, "Yes, we can. We've got little eye things that they can put to hold your eyes open and
Ugh.
do the surgery." So I'm like, "Cool, just put me under. I'll just wake up and go home. That's fine by me."
Ask the second question, right?
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Jamie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I know you have an aversion to medical stuff, so I will move on to the next question. This is actually my favorite of the new icebreakers. If you could have a talking animal sidekick, what would you pick?
Okay, so I'm I'm going to be very predictable. I am. I'm going to be very predictable. It has to be a wolf.
I was gonna
Wolf.
say that,
Oh.
yeah.
It would have to be a wolf. I would want my own um wolf sidekick that can, growl and bare its teeth at all my enemies, but then, give me comfort by snuggling up in
And
a
is it
big
Would
warm fuzzy blanket.
would it be like Game of Thrones direwolf size or just a standard wolf size?
It would be a standard wolf size. I'm not
Okay.
on, but yeah, no, I'd want one that I can hop in my boot.
and is it going to be voiced by Henry Cavill?
Damn yeah, damn straight, definitely 100%. And the name's got to be Alistair.
Alistair,
Alistair.
nice guys.
There we
Yeah,
go.
got to be called Alistair. Has to have a very timber voice, and basically be strong enough to tell me when I'm being an idiot.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah, be
I
brutal
like it.
enough to say, Rebecca, shut up.
I mean, and it would sound polite because it's Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't want their psychic voiced by that sultry man.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
I
All
like
right.
it. I like it.
Let's go to number three. Your
Mhm.
king slash queen slash supreme leader slash president for a day, what do you do?
So again, this involves Henry Cavill.
Oh, nice. You get no
Yeah.
complaints from us.
So I would find my darkest mafia or darkest favorite romance novel and command him to read it to me
Oh,
Oh.
awesome.
whilst in a spa enjoying the day and having all the money out of every person who's over a certain tax bracket be, go into my bank account.
Nice. Okay, I
Yeah.
like that. I like that.
I will be selfish.
Full,
I will
full
have
dictator.
yeah,
Yeah.
because who knows what I'll do with that money after. I might end world hunger with that. But
And
everyone,
you've only got the powers for the day, so you may as well make the most of it.
yeah. So as I'm sat there enjoying a Long Island iced tea with a James Masters Spike lookalike giving
Oh.
me a foot massage,
Mhm.
and Alexander Skarsgård giving me a back
Mhm.
rub, and
Nice.
Henry Cavill reading my darkest, most sinfully good book that's on my bookshelf. And yeah, Neil would be in charge of all the kids today, by the way. He wouldn't have a choice.
I was going to ask,
I,
where's
I was
Neil?
I was going to say,
Neil,
is he standing in the corner just fanning you from a distance while all these attractive men are?
no. He's changing every nappy, making every meal. Basically, the same thing he does every Saturday anyway.
Oh,
And I would make sure that everyone donated to Park.
I like it.
That'd be a little bit
I
of
like
vanilla.
it. Yeah. But I love it. I love it. We do, as you know, we do encourage extremely selfish answers, and that's something like I would do if I was president for a day. I would be selfish for probably 23 hours of the day, and then do a little bit for mankind in the last hour,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
it. You know.
I'd also make write into law that there is no such thing as a bad calorie. It's all fiction.
I like it.
Just
I like it.
destroy the food pyramid.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That way I can eat
Oh,
whatever I want without feeling guilty about it the day.
Excellent.
very nice. Very nice. All right, question number 4. What book slash story would you like to see adapted into a film? And bonus points if you can pick a director and a leading actor or actress.
Okay. So actor,
Mm-hmm.
it's a repeat
Henry
answer.
Cavill. Yeah.
Actress Anna Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
believe those two have never featured together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think if it had to be a director, it actually has to be Ridley Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Because whilst I might not be a horror fanatic, his
Yeah.
cinematography is absolutely spot on and amazing. His commitment to using not just the latest technology but old techniques as well. He doesn't shy away from using old techniques in his movies. So yeah, Ridley Scott, Henry Cavill, Anna Kendrick, and I'd actually have the book Haunting Adeline made into a movie and see how brave they would be and how much they would admit, how much they would not put in the movie to make it actually watchable.
Well, they'd only do like 10-20% of the actual book, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we'll take the
it's
title and rewrite it.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. I'd be interested because I don't know if you've seen all these TikTok videos, these reels of men who are listening with their headphones on and their wives are hijacking it and playing a certain chapter in that book.
Mm.
And men are going, what? And they're truly shocked. And I actually dared my husband to read one of my books stupidly. I meant it as a joke, but we all know he takes challenge very seriously. And about 2 weeks after I've made this joking dare, he says something. I go, no, no, it's a coincidence. About a day later, he says something else. I go, Adam said. Then again, a few more days after that, he says something else. I go, you read it. I was wondering how long he'd gotten on. He's read my favourite book, and now he's using it against me. He is using it against me. But that's not the book I would have made into a movie. I'd have The Haunting.
Okay.
Just to see how far we can push Ridley Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got a friend who has his email address if you want it.
Oh, that would be cool. I actually used to look after someone whose son regularly went for meals with Steven Spielberg.
As you do.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, his son-in-law actually regularly had, because apparently they went to university or something together or something. So every now and again, he goes over and visits them and has a meal, like once every in a blue moon. Like, that's cool. When can you come visit you in the care home?
There you go. It's all about the networking, you know, like Jamie knows someone who knows Ridley Scott. You know someone who knows Steven Spielberg. I mean, come on, two of the biggest directors it's Steven Spielberg pretty much of my life. And Ridley Scott as well. So there you go. Connection, networking, you two can make it happen.
Well, I've got a family friend who is the pastor at a church where Hugh Jackman's dad goes.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And you've got there's your leading actor. And unfortunately, it's not Henry Cavill, but it's
but they've
Hugh
worked
Jackman.
together.
They have, haven't they?
So,
Yes.
The dominoes can
I've spoken to Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
I sorted out his motorcycle insurance.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was working for a company doing motorcycle insurance, I got to actually meet the cat from Red Dwarf.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
You mentioned that. Yeah.
And we had Michael Fassbender as a right. We had Jill Halfpenny. We had Bear Grylls.
Wow.
I believe was one of us, but was one had his bikes insured through us. And Ewan McGregor and Michael Fassbender and John Hannah.
There you go.
When you met Ewan McGregor, did he open with "Hello there"?
I didn't meet him. It was I rang.
Did he go, "Hello there" on the phone?
I wish. I initially got through to his PA, but because I needed because it's sensitive information, I needed him to say, yes, it's okay to talk to my PA.
Yeah.
So he did get on the phone to say, yes, you're allowed to speak to so-and-so on my behalf, and then handed the phone back.
I would have just kept going, is this Ewan McGregor? Yes, you can speak. Is this Ewan McGregor? Just trying to egg him on just to say it, and he'd probably go, fine, hello there. I'll be like,
yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
I think he would be probably annoyed by the amount of people asking him to say that by now.
Yeah.
Because I would get him to record my voicemail and just say hello there.
Yeah, but again, I spoke to John Hannah, and there was one thing I really wanted to ask him to say, but I was like, no, this is being recorded. I can't. Because obviously I love him in Spartacus.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wanted him to say the words, by Jupiter's. I was like, no, this is recorded. I can't ask to say that. I was like, oh.
We just need to do a simple voice recognition to make sure it's you. Can you repeat
Yeah,
this
can you
phrase?
repeat this phrase? Yeah.
Yeah. That I'd love just once in my life for him to say that line in front of me.
Mm,
But
You
you do
know,
know if you did that, like if you said we need you to repeat this phrase for voice recognition, that'd be the one call that the QA, the quality assurance, would pick to
yeah,
listen to. And yeah, it's always the way. It's always the way.
mm,
exactly, because they do 1 in 10.
Yeah. And that'd be the
Yeah,
one by,
it
no
would.
matter how you tried to avoid it, it would be the one they listen to. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know all
it
about QA. I know all about it, and every famous because I used to do like private banking. It's kind of like banking for Australian celebrities when I used to work for
yeah,
Westpac. So I spoke to a few, like I spoke to, you probably wouldn't have heard of them, but I spoke to a famous country singer, Shannon Knoll. I spoke to like a whole bunch of famous people, and I had to remain calm. And every single time, those calls were recorded because it was either famous celebrities or really, really rich people. And they never
yeah.
listened to any calls of the really, really rich people. It was always the celebrities. So I could never like fangirl out any of the celebrities I spoke to, no matter how. I spoke to what's the guy in Terminator? Is it
Sa
Sean Worthington?
Sam
Sam
Worthington.
Worthington. Yeah, I spoke to
Oh,
Sam
Sam
Worthington.
Worthington.
Um,
My second cousin went over to England to dog sit while he filmed Clash of the Titans.
really?
Yeah.
Wow. This is now the 7 degrees of separation podcast, I think. Like Trump.
I went to a wedding, my cousin's wedding, probably 10, 15 years ago, and half the cast of McLeod's Daughters was there.
Really?
Yeah.
I you have you ever watched the British version of Shameless?
No,
No.
no, I haven't.
It's a fantastic sitcom over here. There's this one character, Mimi Maguire, and she is the roughest, meanest Manchester mum. Proper. She's a proper gangster as well in
Yeah.
it. And when I first saw her on there, I was absolutely shocked. She was my drama teacher when I was younger. My mum
Wow.
and dad used to pay for me to get extra drama lessons at this uh, social club in Wood, and she was actually the person in charge of it. And
Wow.
I quit because she was so mean to the students. She was very very strict with her acting, and
Wow.
then I saw her on show, so I went, yeah, she's not acting. That's just her.
I think I'm gonna have to jump on and watch the. I didn't even know there was a UK version of Shameless because I
It's
I
the
love.
original.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah,
Because I love the UK version because I find that I really like the American version of Shameless, but I always find the British versions are better of those kind of shows. So I'll jump on and get onto that for sure.
yeah, because Frank Gallagher
Mhm.
is he's a character, but I prefer UK Shameless, obviously, but it is the original.
Okay, awesome. I'll get onto that.
Yeah.
Definitely, I've got the time to do it, so I will for sure. How many seasons is it? Is it only typical UK 3 seasons?
No, there's actually quite a few.
Awesome, brilliant,
So there
brilliant.
was actually quite a few. I think it actually overstayed its run a bit
Wow.
because
Okay.
by the end of it, none of the original Gallagher
Yeah,
children were in it pretty much.
yeah.
Barely any of them were actually there. The only Gallagher that was still there, I think, was actually Frank himself.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
I'll jump on that.
yeah, and it's actually
Yeah.
set where I live, but
Really?
where I live is nothing like that because in one of the first episodes, the main character accidentally ends up in France for some reason. I won't tell you why. And
Okay.
they ask him for his address, and he literally says Manchester, Stretford. Like, that's where I live. But then you look at where he in the show where he lives. I'm like, yeah, it's not that bad here. That is completely dramatized.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've just found it. Awesome. I found it on one of my legal sites, and I'll see there's 11 seasons. Awesome.
Yeah,
Great. I'll be getting onto that. for sure. All right, is it my turn to ask a question
It
or
is.
yours, Damon?
It's the
Okay.
last.
No, you do the
Oh
last
no.
question. I did
All right.
yeah.
No, it is. That's right, because I went first. All right. So Bill and Ted return in their phone booth time machine and say, "Whoa, dude, it's us again. We're throwing a party of historical figures. Who do you want to put on our most bodacious guest list?"
Did we have a
Nice.
limit or was it
No,
unlimited?
no. Free
Yeah,
range.
unlimited.
I suck at this because I hated history. Absolutely hated history. I think I would. Oh, it's so strange. I know if I go back in time, I'd actually get actors that have passed away more than historical figures.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that
that's
works.
fine. Yeah.
Party.
That
It
works.
doesn't
So
have
it's
to
like,
necessarily be famous historical like George Washington or anything
It can
like
be.
that.
It
It can
can.
be
yeah,
It
actors,
can.
no.
actors. Yeah.
It can be
I
modern
think
history.
I think for me it'd be like Ryan Dunn. I'd go and get
Oh
him
yeah, from
because like
Jackass.
it was his birthday the other day, and I was like, actually, I every time I see him, I'm like, he was my favorite.
Hmm.
He's my favorite jackass. And I'd get the actor who played Doyle from Angel.
Mhm.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. He passed away, didn't he? Oh yeah.
yeah, he passed away
Oh
not long
wow.
after he was actually kicked off the show.
Yeah.
And I'd get Paul Walker,
Yeah.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd grab um who else would I grab? Yeah, all the young actors that were taken too soon.
Mm.
I'd
Hmm.
I'd go grab them for the bodacious party and give them one last big bodacious party. All the people who've been had their lives destroyed by Hollywood and by
Hmm.
Mhm.
rock and roll and things like that, who died too soon because of the lifestyle, and let them have one last party. That's what I
Yeah.
would do, I think. Just because there's so many, when you watch a movie and like Michael Duncan Clark.
Yes.
Hmm.
Oh, I loved him. Absolutely adored him. Tony Todd. He'd be bring the Candyman to a party
Oh
again.
yeah.
Um, and
John Candy.
yeah, I'm trying to think. It's one of those where I watch things. I go, oh, like Michelle Trachtenberg as
Oh
well.
yes, yeah. Dawn.
Dawn.
Dawn from
Yeah,
Buffy, yeah.
it's
Mm.
breaking
She
my
passed
heart.
away recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was one of those where she's only passed away recently, but she passed away just after we started getting my daughter to watch Buffy,
Mm.
Oh no,
and she's
no.
just got up to that season. And I'm like,
Mm,
rest in peace.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
hard to watch knowing that they're
Yeah.
gone now, because these are people that I've grown up on watching
Yeah.
Yeah.
and admiring and adoring. But then the next minute you hear that they've passed away, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
I generally get affected, like it's weird. Like um Steph, she always says like I get affected by people who I absolutely love in Hollywood, even though I've never met them and they pass away.
Yeah.
Like the amount of times I watch The Dark Knight and I don't get teary, but it gets you right in the feels, because Heath Ledger,
Mm.
like that movie wouldn't be what it was if it wasn't for Heath Ledger. Like everyone in that movie was amazing, but Heath Ledger brought
Stole
the
it. Yeah.
Joker to life so well. And they had plans to use him in the next movie. That's why they didn't kill him off.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan said that the Joker was going to be an integral part of the third movie. And even people in TV shows, like I can still watch TV
what's
shows.
his name? Whitaker, Andy Whitaker, I think his name was, from Spartacus.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yes.
Yep.
Spartacus season 1, and then he
Yeah,
got
because
recast.
obviously it got recast because he passed away from the big
Yeah.
C. And
Yeah.
What about Chadwick
Boseman,
Boseman? I was about to say that.
yeah,
Chadwick.
Yeah,
Black Panther.
Wakanda. Yeah.
yeah. They had to they had to rethink how the movie was going to go because of what
Yeah.
happened to him. I'd ask Bill and Ted to go and get those people so they can finish
Yeah.
their life's
Oh,
work.
that's how you make a better Black Panther too.
Yeah, let these people finish their
Their
life's
work.
work that they set out
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
So
And
I have funny feelings at one point in the future you're going to ask someone this same question and they're going to go back and say George R. Martin so he can finish the book.
Yeah.
At some point, someone's going to say that because he's not finishing that book in his lifetime.
Someone needs to
Yeah.
go into his study, dressed as the Grim Reaper, and just
Yeah.
go finish the book. You know.
Yeah,
Oh
but no,
wow.
that's going to be an answer in the future when you ask that because at some point he's not going to be here.
Maybe he's just
And
hanging on because he knows that Brandon Sanderson will probably finish it for him. The way that he finished Wheel of Time.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So those
wow.
are the type of people I would get Bill and Ted to go back and get.
Excellent.
Now,
Yeah.
would you give them a like? Would you warn them? Like, for example, with Heath Ledger, would you say, this is where I'd be selfish because the way that he delved into the Joker is essentially what sort of
Yeah.
drew him towards his end. Now, would you go back and you would say, hey, don't take this role, and then he might survive, or
No, because I subscribe to the time theory of if I did that, then I would never have asked Bill and Ted to go back and get him because he wouldn't have
yeah,
died.
yeah,
It's
yeah, I
Or
get
circular.
you.
the I don't know who was on that talked about it, but like fate, so like you may have saved him from that, but then he'll walk across the road and get hit by a truck. It's like something else
Yeah,
will
that was that's
take
what
him
like
out.
I'm a fate guy. I'm a destiny guy. You know, he was yeah, like he was
Yeah.
destined to pass away.
Very
Unfortunately,
Final Destination.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. I love all those movies, but I'm like, I think it was the Hitler question. You know what I mean? Like, when Jamie
Yeah.
was asking, is it okay to kill children if you know they're going to become a monster? And I don't have children, so that's why I'm a little bit non.
Um,
Do you know what I mean?
I'm very nurture over nature. You
Okay.
didn't need to kill him. You don't need to kill him. You need to abduct him and put him in a loving, caring home that is primarily Jewish people.
Okay.
Raise him with what he would grow up to hate so that he gets
Mm.
more of a understanding and a compassion. I do believe that there is some nature over it. There is some biological imperatives in the brain that do drive people to have certain personality traits. But it's like Dexter. He was wired to kill,
Hmm.
but his dad directed it to a more meaningful,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Harry's code,
Mm.
Yeah, Harry's
only
code.
kill
Yeah.
killers. So no, I will never ever justify going back and killing said baby Adolf Hitler, but I would justify going back and removing him from the toxic environment that gave him these ideologies
Mm.
to break. But the thing is, without that war, so much else couldn't have happened. I know that
Exactly.
sounds horrible and
No,
harsh,
no.
No.
but it's like
It's yeah,
my, so much would never have taken place because of that war if
exactly.
that war didn't happen. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was a good thing that it happened. I'm
No.
saying it was a needed thing.
And that's where, the whole fate and destiny thing kind of
Yeah.
comes into play with me. It's as harsh as it may sound, um, it is like certain terrible, horrible events needed to happen for other things, like for us to get to the world where we are right now. And you know what I mean? It sounds harsh, and I
Yeah.
sometimes get criticism for saying that, but I don't believe in my mind that there was any way to stop these world wars that have happened. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like even, yeah, like I believe if you did what you did with Hitler, someone else would have taken his place. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? It just wouldn't
Yeah.
have been Hitler. So,
yeah. I
and
mean,
that's just my personal opinion.
on a smaller scale, if teachers hadn't told me that I was lazy and stupid and would never amount to anything, if they weren't cruel to me and my English teachers growing up, I would never have gone, well, I'm going to prove you wrong,
Hmm.
and then
Yeah,
written six
exactly.
books.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
the fact that they told me that I was lazy, stupid, and wouldn't amount to much, and no, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah. I saw an interview with Tyler Hoechlin, Superman and Lois Superman. I
Yep,
think
yep,
I think
yep.
I think
Tyler
he was
Hoechlin, yep.
yeah, I think he was on the uh Michael Rosenberg podcast, and he was
Yeah,
talking about like when when he played sports, his coach was one of those what do you call it, cliche coaches that you are a scum, you are, and he said
yeah.
I loved it. He said I loved getting yelled at because it pushed me
Just
forward, it pushed me,
inspiration.
yeah,
It just made you work that much harder. You know what?
yeah,
I hate
yeah,
you. I'm going to prove you wrong.
yeah,
So,
exactly,
yeah.
Sometimes it's the negative things in your life that make you do the positive.
yeah,
Hmm.
That's the flip side, isn't it? I know that's
mhm.
you want to say, oh, it's always good when good things come around, good
No,
things, good things, good things. But it's that age old adage of you don't know when you're happy unless you get sad.
yep,
Um,
Yeah.
I know that you know everyone has their own pinnacle moment in their lives. But for me, it's I wouldn't be who I am without all of that rubbish that's
Mhm.
yeah,
gone
that's it,
before.
Definitely.
I just wouldn't, and neither
Hmm.
would anyone I know. I know it's
Yeah.
like I've got a relative right now who um she's going through a hard time, very hard time, but because we as a family had already dealt with this issue before, she's able to tackle it a lot stronger and a lot. It feels like she's living deja vu
mm,
because we
Yeah.
obviously had someone in our family have an ailment. I can't say too much. Had an ailment. As a family, we all came together and we lived with it for decades as a family. Now she's
Yeah.
finding someone else in her married life is having this same ailment, but that he's not tackling it the same way as ours did. It's a buried in the head, bury the head in the sand type of situation.
Hmm.
But because she's already been through it with us, and yes, we've already been through that heartbreak, and she's able to say, right, I know how to support, I know how to help. And I think if she wasn't in his life, he'd have given up a long time ago.
Yeah.
This person would not have had fought because he was raised to just bury it and just ignore it was happening to him. Because she said, no, I've lived this, I've been through it, I'm going to help you. He's come
Yeah.
so much further because of it than he would have without her. So,
Yeah.
yes, as a family, we've gone through a lot dealing with it, but there is a reason.
100%.
mm.
100%. I totally believe that. Totally believe that. Definitely.
This podcast is brought to you by Martin Kearns and the Valor of Valhalla series. In the battle between two ancient evils, can one naive young man become the last hope against powerful creatures of legend? Beneath the Veil is the gripping first book in the Valor of Valhalla dark urban fantasy series. If you like reluctant heroes, infernal myths, and bloody epic clashes, then you'll love Martin Kearns' formidable foray into the unknown. So head on over to readkearns.com and grab yourself a copy of Beneath the Veil today. Well, let's segue into what we're supposed to be talking about, and that's your new book, which isn't werewolf related. But the most
Oh,
important question: is their characters modeled off Henry Cavill? Is there
Henry Cavill.
a neighbor to the broken cabin who's one of those chisel jawed axeman
there,
woodman?
there is actually a character called
Yes,
Yeah,
giving
well
the fans
done.
what they want.
You're not going to be happy with me.
Yeah, you kill him, don't you? You kill him.
But
Yeah.
I say the main character's a widow.
Oh, okay. The husband. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
You killed Superman.
you, who are you, DC?
Yeah.
Who are you? No, who owns DC? Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Warner
Yeah,
Brothers, yeah.
Warner Brothers. Yeah, you're Warner
yeah,
Brothers.
no. This book is very much gone off from what my previous books have been like. You
Mhm.
know, I've not shied away from character deaths and
Hmm.
you know, um, being mean to my readers. You know, I've literally
Mhm.
had poor Liliana in tears thinking, I can't read the next page because if you killed him, I'm going to kill you. I have had that threatening video call from one of my brownie fans saying, if I turn this page and this character's dead, you're dead.
Oh, you're the George R. R. Martin of werewolf
Werewolf.
romance.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Don't get too attached, it's what I'm saying to some of my characters.
Mm.
And so this book, it's a very personal one because
Okay.
it's based off of a nightmare I had a long time ago. A nightmare that have you ever had a nightmare that's just stuck with you, that you've had it and you've never been able to
Yeah.
shake it,
Yep.
and it's become such a core to you that you've ended up spending many nights just awake flushing that dream out, um about how you would react to that dream.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is me
Oh,
planning out what I would do if that dream actually happened.
okay.
And it was because Neil once said to me that if I hadn't become his girlfriend when I did, he'd have joined the army.
Mm.
Okay.
And but he didn't, as we were just started a relationship. He'd waited 2 years for me to say yes to being his girlfriend. He wasn't going to leave me now. So he didn't join the army. But when we had our little girl, I dreamed that he did, and that the worst happened. And I woke up the next day, not crying, not sad, not grieving. I woke up angry. I woke up with this absolute unreasonable, completely fat, crazy anger for my husband, because it dream version of him joined the army and got himself killed. And I didn't say this to him when I woke up, and I spent that entire day giving him one word answers to do, not letting him help me with anything. Just going, no, I'm fine, fine. Burying myself into looking after Grace. And then at the end of the day, he just turns around to me and goes, what have I done? That you've not done anything. Like, no, I've done something. What have I done? I can't remember if I've done something really stupid. I said, you did. I was like, well, what? I went, you went and died. And he's like, I was, what? And I told him about the dream. I said, I'm sorry, I just can't separate dream you and you. I can't do it. And then it started the conversation of what we would do with our futures and things like that. And we've always dreamed about moving to like the countryside and having a log cabin as a home, and having a peaceful life, one where he can get decent internet still. So this is complete. And that'd be our dream retirement in the future. So I just thought, if Neil ever did, what dream Neil did, I would still live out that fantasy, just maybe a bit sooner.
Yeah.
So this book, it follows the life the aftermath of Raquel Lawton, aka Ricky Lawton, going over to New Hampshire, America, with her daughter Ginny, and starting fresh there. However, because she's still grieving, she doesn't really want to tell people what's happened. She's not ready to talk about it, not ready to tell people. They all make assumptions that she's a runaway wife, spread rumors, there's messages. And in the meantime, the cabin that she's bought was not sold in good faith in the state that was advertised. But unfortunately, that cabin, the local handyman was saving up for it. It was his childhood home. So the one person who can help her fix this broken cabin is the one person who wants her to leave. So yeah, so that's the starting premise of the story. It's all about that second chance and fighting for that second chance, trying to find peace. But obviously, it's never that easy. Never that easy.
Awesome. So did you find it difficult switching genres?
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
Were you tempted to just write and then a werewolf comes along?
It wasn't actually that was the most difficult not to write about. The most difficult bit was not having as many spicy scenes.
Oh, okay.
Because with the type of romance I have, it's very heated, very passionate. It's about alpha males and their mates, and they can't keep their hands off each other. Whereas with this one, the two leads, yes, there's going to be an attraction, but they fight it. They don't want to embrace it.
More of a slow burn then, is it?
Very, very much. Yeah. Plus, there's a lot of family drama in it. There's no action thriller sequences in this one, whereas in the past I've had werewolves ripping each other's heads off.
Yeah.
This one, again, I've had my beta readers bringing me up in tears, because there is this one chapter that it's the young daughter. She's 15 daughter, and it's her setting the record straight about what's happened with dad and sticking up for her mum. It's that scene that I feel will resonate with people more than the couple themselves. Which that was the hardest for me to write, because again, this is me imagining if it was Grace.
Yeah.
And what Grace would have done and how she would have responded. And I know exactly what she would have done, and I wrote it as if it was her.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart, just even imagining her going through anything like this. I feel like I'm quite sadistic even writing this book, because it's me thinking about what I would do in the worst circumstances. But I think we all think that way at some point.
Yeah.
I think everyone always thinks worst case scenario. We have wills, we have beneficiaries, things like that. So I think this is just a way of me, I don't know, just getting a bit of calm about it, not overthinking it, not this is what I would do.
Yeah. And it probably helped just to work, because you're working through it at the same time as you're writing it, and processing it, and obviously you had to write this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I
Um,
was going what I was going to say, throwing into what Jamie just said, did you find a sense of, relief, or a sense of like, after you've written the book, do you feel like, you finally putting that nightmare to paper, have some sort of weight lifted off your shoulders, or feel a bit of relief in doing that?
yes and no.
Hmm.
Yes, I felt relief in the fact that I like to think I would be strong enough to follow our dream and do what's right for our children and do what's right for me. But I also felt tremendous guilt
Yeah.
because in this story, one thing I don't think I would be able to do is find love again.
Hmm.
I think that's something that I would never believe could happen.
Yeah.
But obviously, this is it is a romance story.
Yeah.
I wanted something good to come for Ricky.
Mm.
I wanted her to find that closure. So it is a romance, but I genuinely don't think my personal story will end the same way this one does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, it's writing about what I would do, but I don't think it's really that.
Yeah.
It
No, it's kind of like something you never want to have to think about going through,
no,
like when you found your person, you don't want to, you don't think about, or you don't want to
yeah,
think about life without that person, or children. Obviously, I don't know. I mean, I have two cats, and they're my children, and I literally, I have one of the cats who, since I got out of hospital in March, has not left my side pretty much, except to go and eat and go to the toilet. She's always sitting in her bed beside me. She's always sitting on me when I go to bed. And I don't want to think about, like, she's 11 now, and I don't want to think about anything happening to her. So to
no.
multiply that by 1,000, to have to go through and lose your person that you're meant to be with for the rest of your life, no one wants to think about that, and it must have taken a massive toll, because you've had to put yourself into her shoes, and to write this story, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, and that's regardless. Even if I was a writer, I was a really good writer, I wouldn't be able to do it, because I think I'd just get too depressed and
Mm.
too,
Yeah.
too broken.
This one has taken me the longest to write. I've been promising this book for over a year,
Mhm.
but I think at some point I had to take a break from it.
Yeah,
And
of
it was I
course.
know which scene I wrote, and then afterwards I had to go, no, I'm gonna have to walk away from this one. But it's funny how I'm promoting this book today of all days, because today's just been full of coincidences about it as well. Me and Neil just recently celebrated our 20-year anniversary being together.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and we actually got together because of a Nine Inch Nails concert, and they're touring in the UK at the moment.
Oh, wow.
And I've been wanting to get tickets for it for him for ages, because it's also our wedding anniversary next month. And I was just like, got together because of the Nine Inch Nails concert. Our son's got a middle name of Trent for a reason. Um, and today of all days, I got an email saying, because I emailed a company that was selling tickets and explained the situation, explained that we got together because of this X, Y, Z. I explained everything and said, "I'm gutted, we can't be there, but we wish Nine Inch Nails all the best on their tour." Got an email. We can give you the tickets for £30 each
Oh,
instead of
wow.
Wow.
the X amount that it was supposed to be for. So I took it. I bought the two tickets today, and then one of my children knocked over a memory box in the living room, and out fell this letter. And I thought I'd lost this letter. It's a letter from when we first got together. It was a plain letter because I was going on holiday, and back 20 years ago, you didn't have internet when you went away. You weren't
Yeah.
able to just video call your friends family.
Mhm.
That's how
Mhm.
old I am. I feel old. So Neil wrote me a plain letter, and in that plain letter, it says about how much he's looking forward to going to this Nine Inch Nails concert with me and things like that. And
Mm.
that fell out of that box today. And everything today just seems to be about how me and Neil started our relationship. And that, you know, that's what this book is somewhat about. There's little glimpses to the how Ricky and her deceased husband relate to Joe. And it was very hard to write that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to write Neil as that person because not really selfish. But in this the dream version of Neil, he was selfish, going away to war.
Mm.
Obviously, my
Yeah.
Neil's not because he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So
but
was there any moments where you'd finished writing, some of the book and you just went and gave him a hug and just, like I think that's what I would do. I would write like I'd be so emotionally invested in it that I'd be just
yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
yeah. The issue I've got with that though is my writing time is when everyone's gone to bed
Okay. Yeah.
Just jump on him in
because
the middle of the night. Neil!
yeah, no, he'd wake up with the wrong impression. And uh, sorry. um, yeah, no, it was there was one chapter where when I wrote it, I think the next day I cocooned myself um upstairs, wrapped myself around in blankets just like the character did in the book. I just didn't want to even look at Neil because I
Okay.
felt guilty for writing it.
Mhm.
And I know he's read it. He's read it now. And I'm surprised he's not gone, I would never have done that to you. He's not taken any offense, which has surprised me.
I I've only met him a handful of times, but I can generally recognize the kind of person a person is within like the first meeting, first half an hour of talking to them. And I can completely say I'm not surprised that he didn't take offense to anything because he doesn't seem like that kind of guy. He's very
No,
supportive of your work, even just from that Ancora episode, like the way he was talking about, the new book. Yeah, I don't see him being someone who would have taken offense or felt, had
I know.
any issues with that.
I know. I did expect him to at least go, hang on, is this how you really think of me?
Yeah.
But he's never once said that. And that surprised me because, like I said, I'm writing the dream version of Neil, the selfish asshole,
Hmm.
not the
Yeah.
one that, has stayed with me, raised four beautiful kids,
Yeah.
and puts up with my selfish need to write.
It's the
You
Neil
know,
verse.
yeah, yeah. But the thing is, this one is actually a trilogy as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. That was one
Oh
of my
Uh,
questions.
my.
Okay.
How's that going to work? Did you have more dreams?
and no, but I did my usual, where I wrote a story and characters started getting written alongside the main one,
Mhm.
and I like the character,
Yeah.
so I've gone and made them stories.
Okay.
Same as like I did with Jade for Acceptable.
Mm.
And yes, they are going to be as well tearjerkers. So one is the next one after this is going to be called The Broken Tavern. And then the one after this, that one is going to be called The Broken Home.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Foreshadowing.
yeah. That's why it's called a Clear Haven romance, because all these happen in a small town called Clear Haven.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah,
Okay.
it
There you go.
it, it sparked more again. But unfortunately, for the second one of this, you're going to have to wait a while because I have also started another trilogy.
Of course you have.
And then I've also started Chris's project.
Oh,
Oh,
that's right.
yes.
That's just
Yes.
Never dare me to do anything.
Yeah, but you know what happens? He makes a dare like that, and then he forgets he's done it.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, because he doesn't listen back to the podcast. He doesn't, just
No.
goes on about his life and goes, "Oh, you should blah blah blah," and then
I guarantee you, if we spoke to him today, he would not have a recollection of that, or he would just pretend that he remembers and not really remember.
yeah,
Yeah, but because he dared me, I have done ridiculous amount of research on succubuses. Absolute ridiculous amount of research. And I have been sending questions to poor Jane about Chris. But, and then asking him, reckon Jamie would do it? Yeah. And the thing is, you two are in it as well.
yeah.
Oh,
Just
okay.
forewarning you. You two are in this book.
Excellent.
Okay. I think I even asked you what you would call your comic book store.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
I think that has been a question. Just so I can get this book absolutely spot on with just Chris. And
I like it.
yeah, no, so because of Chris, the second book to this is delayed.
Wow.
Well,
We'll tell him that today for sure.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
say you're going to be heard in Rebecca Cassells' readers of The Broken Cabin because the sequel is being delayed because of your request. And he'll go, what request?
Yeah.
please
Pretty
send
much.
all of your hate mail to thetrueandfictional@gmail.com and I'll pass it on to Chris.
Yeah. He is the reason you are not getting Colin and Lacey's story any.
Wow. There you go. You heard it here first.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Let's do Ryan's favorite thing. Let's talk about the cover. I'll actually
Yeah. I
bring it
like
up.
the cover.
I'll bring it up this time so we can all have a sticky beak.
I like it. I like what I like about this cover is it's and this is no means a diss or anything. It's simple, but it I can literally tell without if you didn't have a Clearhaven romance written on there, I could tell that it was that it was going to be, a romance story because you've got the raindrops coming over, you've got the simple design of the cabin. It just feels like a romance, like like a lake house or like a notebook, or I'm not saying it, comparing it to those two, but it just feels like it's gonna be a romance story, and there's going to be a bit of sadness in it as well, represented by the raindrops. That's my opinions of it anyway. I think it's a great cover.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, with it.
Was it self-made? Did you have someone
No,
do it for you?
no. I actually went onto a website and said gave a quick brief, and for £35 I got the cover you see now. I got the ebook cover, I got the banner, I got mock-ups, and I got marketing materials for £35 from a website called Get Covers.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just do it all myself now.
I barely have time to write these stories, never mind. But to be fair, I am making a lot of stuff to go with these books myself at the moment. I'm making earrings, I'm making necklaces, I'm making keychains, bookmarks, absolutely all sorts, because I'm doing some book bundles, which I did promote today, I think. So you can get a copy of the book, some jewelry, bath bombs, a tasty treat, keychain, bookmark, and scented candle for £30. So it's all nice little book bundle, because obviously when I say this knowing I'm a woman. I know that when women finally get that time to sit and read, it's a bit of a pamper. It's a bit of a
Yeah.
luxury. So having all these little treats to go with the book would help just a little bit more with that pamper. So yeah, that's going to be available as well. So yeah, I've designed quite a bit. The earrings are lovely. I love the earrings. They're so cute.
It's just something about
Um,
merch, isn't there? It's just like
Yeah.
yeah.
it's. I sent my Emu War book to someone over in Texas, and she genuinely got excited because I sent her like a print. It was like a Emu War print, and it squealed. So it's such a cool, just extra stuff.
It, I do this stand once a month at least in Warrington at an event called the Wellbeing Event. Be Kind.
Mhm.
And it's all about spirituality and mental health and physical health. There's like a crystal seller, there's people doing Reiki, massages, tarot reading. There's someone there from the Forever brand who do like the C9 stuff, which is like a detoxing um
Mhm.
thing. And then there's someone who does like dream catchers and candles, everything you need to try and de-stress your life. It's a fantastic event. I love it. I love going, and they always invite me back every second Saturday of the month because readings and escape and things like that. But it's also because they like my jewelry. I actually sell more of the jewelry I make to go with the books than I do the books.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because they're cute. They're not what you see anywhere else. I actually sell more of those than the book when I go to this one. So my fingers are actually a bit sore from me this week.
You mean you don't make
Um,
Neil do it? You don't make Neil do it?
no, because if I make him do it, then I'm the one that has to change it.
Oh.
I can. I'm dealing with tiny little things. I need my concentration. You change the pump.
Teamwork.
Yeah, it's dream work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, I think we've got time to do maybe half of these. I think we'll select these bonus questions, Ryan. We'll pick our favorites.
Yeah, I think Rebecca already answered one of them, and we did
Yeah,
have one
yeah,
question that was, if you could have anyone read your favorite book to you, who would it be? And you answered that in the icebreakers with
yeah,
Henry Cavill.
yeah.
So,
That's cool.
um,
But I'm just thinking
awesome.
before we do that, when's the Broken Cabin out? When can people get it?
Well, it's available for pre-order now on Amazon.
Yep.
And so you can actually head on over. And if you send me proof that you've pre-ordered it, I could send you a lovely little treat for it.
Ooh.
So people will be that promotion's going out tomorrow. So if you do send me proof that you've pre-ordered it, then I will be sending you a little treat, especially if you're in the UK. That's
Mhm.
But yeah, it's actually out from the 21st of July. Not July, June.
June. Mm.
June, 21st of June. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. I've got my copy already. It I'm just so excited to get this book
Yeah.
finally out there. It's finally a book that my mum and dad
Can read, yeah. And then they'll go, "Ooh, I like this stuff. I wonder what other stuff the author has done." Oh my god!
can.
It's true because I'm the same. I mean, I've got my first book's a kid's book. My second book is definitely not a kid's book.
No.
And then apparently this new one's a YA.
Yeah, definitely.
All
Definitely.
over the shop. So yeah. Um, but yeah, now I'm locked into a genre. We'll see what happens. But yeah, let's crack into a few of our favorite bonus content just because time's running short for me.
I'll start.
Yep.
So what's the first book you can ever remember reading?
Mr. Tom. Good night, Mr. Tom.
Good night, Mr.
Okay.
Tom.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Tom. I've got copy. Actually, I can see it. It's right there on the shelf. It was my granddad's copy.
Oh,
Uh, he did start reading it, but by the end, I was reading it to him.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the first proper book I remember actually reading. None of this, board books or anything. Proper, yeah. Again, yeah, it stuck with me. I love that. I also love the BBC adaptation of it. Um, that I love that one. But no, the book. I always
Awesome.
got it right there.
Cool. All right, I'll jump ahead with what's a book that's on your TBR list?
It's too long. I'm currently reading Powerless.
Mm.
So I've got Powerless, Reckless, and Fearless to get through. I've got Enchanted to get through. I'm halfway through Haunting of Adeline, and then I've got Knights and Moths. I've got what other books did I pick up? I picked up 10 Waterstones.
10, jeez.
Yeah. My daughter's just picked one up, and I've looked at it and gone, I actually want to read that, and I don't think she should be
Mine.
reading it. It's called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't think my 11-year-old should be reading it. She is. And I've also got there's quite a few. There is. I've got some Kelsey Sterlings that I want to read. I've got some Julia Wolfs that I want to read. There's definitely a Vera Fox. I also want to read. Oh, what's it? Book Goblin. Have you ever seen Book Goblin?
Oh, I've heard of it.
No.
Elizabeth. It'll come to me later. I know her as Book Goblin because I love Book Goblin.
Okay.
I want to read her book. Tears of the Wolf. And yeah, most of them right now.
Okay.
Most of them. I think. I'm sure I'm missing one that I've not said.
Okay.
I've read like 3 Julia Wolfs in the past month. Yeah, I'm reading it though. I am reading it.
That's right.
It's not on my to be read list. It's being read now.
It's in the currently read list, yes.
I put all the other ones to one side to read yours.
Oh, jeez. I'm blessed.
I must say,
Neil's used my Kindle subscription to get it, so it's on
yeah.
my phone anyway.
No, I must say with Jamie's book, I read the first 2 chapters like way early, which he sent me really, really early. But then when he sent me the final PDF and said we're doing this encore episode, I knew I had about a week to finish it, but I only needed 2 days. I legitimately read the majority of the book in 2 days because I just couldn't put it down. It's been so long since I've read a book where I was like, I need to know what happens. Because every chapter, at the end of every chapter, I'm like, I'm going to stop after this chapter. And then I finish the chapter, I'm like, damn it. I'm going to stop after the next chapter.
I actually want to jog your memory here, actually, Ryan.
Oh,
I
God.
don't know
Yeah,
whether or not. Do you remember ever getting an email from something called Cozy Night Stories?
That's her email address.
Yeah, honestly, prior to I was in hospital, in a mental health hospital for 10 months, so I don't remember a lot of what happened since I had my amputation.
You've had access to this book
Oh, really?
for over a year.
Oh, I do apologize for not reading
read
that.
this book. No, it's fine. It's fine. I just don't know whether or not you even.
I think hospital is a good excuse for not reading someone's book.
Yeah,
definitely.
no, honestly, like for the first 3 months that I was in hospital, I wasn't even watching anything. I was just, it was psychologist, psychiatrist, bang, 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 and then I didn't start reading until probably October, November of last year. And then honestly, I probably got an email. I'm actually going to check it right now. to be
Yeah,
honest. So
cozy night
viewers can,
stories.
I probably have got it. Let me have a look. Yeah, you can talk amongst yourself, guys. I'm just checking.
Yeah, no,
Okay, here we
I am
go.
reading yours too.
I have a folder on my email that says Rebecca Castle, so I'm assuming I've got something. I did a document shared with you on the 14th of December 2023, which was in the middle of me having my mental breakdown. Um, I know this is captivating podcast work, but I'm looking
It's all right.
at,
It's pre-edited,
yeah,
pre-recorded,
that's fine.
pre-recorded.
It says I need to request access, but I have no doubt that that is probably your amazing book that I've had access to
Yeah,
for the last year and have not read it, and I am extremely sorry for that.
it's okay.
I actually legitimately have an excuse, but I have not had an excuse. I have not had an excuse for the last 3 months, but in my defense, I forgot that I had it. So, but I did make a folder called Rebecca Cassells, so as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yeah, I got the email.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I will definitely be reading it then in the next few
yeah,
days,
because
now that
you've
I've
got a
found
free
that I have it.
copy.
There you go. Awesome.
There you go. You've got yeah. Sorry,
All
Jamie, you were
right.
included on that.
Hmm?
Sorry, I didn't send it to you,
No, you probably
but
figured
I
I
can.
was way too busy.
Yeah.
At that time, I was probably working 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts. So
Yeah, you were. That was back
Oh,
in December of 2023. So yeah.
yeah.
That was
yeah.
probably around about then. Because I think I was in hospital December 2023 to January 2024, came out January, and then went back in June of 2024 till March of this year. So, yeah, I was in hospital for the second time then. So, but yes, now
Mm.
that I know I have it, I shall definitely
You
read it.
shall read it.
I shall. So, and I'll be crying the next time I see Neil saying, "Why did you join the army?" So,
Yeah.
All right.
all right. The next question that I'm going to ask is my second favorite question of these bonus questions. If you could combine the works of two different
Mhm.
authors, who would you choose? So, two different worlds, like,
Crossover.
for an example, we
Oh,
normally say, imagine Game of Thrones and Harry Potter meshed together. So, obviously, that's not an answer we want from you, but what two worlds would you combine?
oh. Okay. I definitely go for Julia Wool,
Mhm.
because she writes source like nobody else,
Mhm.
and I would pick it the games.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So you want some sauce in
Yeah,
Hunger Games?
yeah, older versions, obviously of
Yeah.
the Hunger Games, but yeah, I'd have Julia Wool rewrite game.
Oh, there you go.
So then you'd get you wouldn't get the sort of for most of the Hunger Games the implied romance between Katniss and Peter. You'd be getting romance
The
of Katniss and
romance.
Peter.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice,
I'd
nice. I
age
think
them up, obviously.
yeah, obviously definitely they will be, and for disclaimer, they will be a full 18 plus age, and
Yes,
you know. Just, but yeah, I
exactly.
can definitely see that because that's one thing that I've read the books, I've seen the movies, and that's one thing I think, um, I think Katniss deserves some loving. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
for what she has to go through and what she has to lose in in that series of books, I think she deserves some good old-fashioned loving.
yeah. I mean, it's just one of those where Julia is such. The one book I love of hers is called Faded in Bloom. It is by far, he is my book boyfriend. I
Mhm.
love that story. It's amazing, and I will never stop saying how much I love that book. Um, and the way she writes um romance, it's a tender but a passionate,
Awesome. Yeah.
and I love it. I love how she combines the tender with the passion. Something I've always struggled to get that quite right. She does. And but I love the Hunger Games, the actual storyline,
Yeah.
the premise. So imagine bringing that tender and passion to those characters. I think it would
Yeah.
be an amazing story.
I like that. I like that.
All right, I think
That's
we'll do.
something that I could definitely see buying and reading and I'm not a massive fan of like super spicy stuff, but I could definitely get into that for sure.
To be honest, I think I'm reading that now because I've just, I was starting Powerless,
Okay.
and that does seem like a very fantasy version of Hunger Games with a romance
Okay.
from what I've read of like the first 100 pages. I've not got all the way through it yet. So I'm looking forward to finishing that one because if it's where I think it's going to go, I think that is going to be what I've just described come true.
Okay.
I have a funny
Awesome.
feeling.
Hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see. I'll give you an update as to whether or not that is actually.
Yeah, definitely. Now,
I
Jamie, I
have.
beg of you not to
That's it.
ask the last question because that's my favorite question.
No, well, I was going to say we're going to do two more,
Yeah,
and
I'll do the last question.
it's hard for me because there's two really cool ones I want to do, but I'm going to choose the second of the cool one. That is, if you could spend the day with any fictional character, who would it be, and what would you do?
It's self-centered. Jade from Acceptable and
Mhm.
Acceptable
Mm.
from my book. Jade is that character that I created. I never expected anything to come of this character. She was supposed to be just a side character to get the main story going. But I fell in love with her. I really did. And I made her character's life so much harder than it had to be. And I just feel like she deserves for me to buy her a drink and say sorry.
For putting you
And
through that.
yeah, for putting her through what I put her through in the book. Jade and Dean's story is one that I very much never intended to write, but it became my favorite out of all the werewolf series I've done.
Mm.
Don't get me wrong, I love my first trilogy, they're my babies, but accepting the unacceptable, that character, I loved writing every second of that character. There was not one point where I was like, I don't want to write this.
Mm.
I was obsessed with that book and getting that book right. And yeah, that character deserves a drink. I need to buy her a drink.
Now, when you
Excellent.
went to spend the day with her, would you tell her that you were her creator?
No, because I think she'd slash me across the throat with
Yeah,
a wolf talon.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think I would definitely get a bit of a bitch slap with paws.
You what?
Yeah,
You did what?
yeah. Just imagine she's got nails like that, but they're black and
Yeah.
claw-like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
that'd be
but then as
right
her
across my
creator,
face.
as her creator, you could be like, what claws?
And then
Then
they
I
just
won't be
magically
staying
disappear.
true. I won't be staying true to the story, and also
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Yeah. All right. Last question,
All right,
Ryan.
this
Bring
is
it home.
my favorite question of all of them. What are your three desert island books? So you're stranded on a desert island. You can only take three books with you. What books are they?
I hate you for that question. I hate you for that question.
I love this question because
Uh,
it really gets people thinking. Because you can only take three. There is no. We've had people who have made it up to five, and we say no, but like you could only take three books.
No, but I've always said, look, I'll just give you an example. Not my book. It's two books in one.
yeah.
I say that counts because it's a physical book.
Yeah, no, it is one physical book. but there are two different. I consider that two stories within one physical book, so that counts.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know one book, I've mentioned it already, and that's My Good Night, Mr. Tom. My copy of it, because my
Mhm.
copy has got a note from my granddad.
Okay.
So that one would go with me just so I can read that one note at the very least. Then I think it has to be something I'm really want to read but haven't read yet. So it's got me interested. Haunting. I've only read the first few chapters of that one, and it's a thick book. And I genuinely hate you for this. I've got three authors in my head, but I personally know them,
Oh.
and they are friends of mine, and I can't pick one without insulting the other two. There's just no way.
Battle Royale.
I'm gonna have to say just so that I don't end up being defriended or crucified. I'm not gonna be able to pick any of them, but I know I'd. That's the thing. I could leave the Mr. Tom and I could leave the haunting one, and just take those three.
That'd be the safer option.
Yeah.
That would be the safer option, but it's not the one that I would do.
Or don't pick any of those three and
Yeah.
just pick
Yeah.
something different. That way you're not offending anyone.
Or you're
Yeah.
offending all three at once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
I'm sorry, girls. I'm gonna have to defend you because they know who I'm talking about as well. They know. They'll know as soon as they listen to this podcast. They're going, "It's not about my book," and I know who the other two are as well. Uh, okay, gun to my head. It'll have to be Faded in Bloom.
Faded in Blue.
It would. It would have to be Faded in Bloom, by Julia, because it's my go-to whenever I need an uplift in my mood.
Well, those other two authors can send their complaints to storiestrueandthefictional@gmail.com.
Oh no, Julia Wolf's not part of those three
Oh,
friends.
okay.
I don't know
okay,
Julia
fair
Wolf.
enough. Okay,
I don't
fair
know
enough, fair
Julia
enough.
Wolf. That I don't. I wish I knew her. I wish I did.
Those three authors can send their complaints to
Yes.
thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com and we'll pass it on to Chris.
Yeah. But we'll just tell Chris that he offended them on the podcast and he'll just
believe it.
So yeah.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, I've come to know quite a few authors past few years, and I always try and support as many as I can. I mean, like Jamie, please send me some promotional stuff to put on my stands and stalls, please.
So on some what?
I ask other authors now to send me little promotional leaflets or anything that they want, and I put it on my stands and stalls, and people actually pick them up and take them and buy the book.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I got flyers.
Yeah.
What do I just send you a PDF or a?
Send me a PDF and I'll get them printed out and I'll hand them out to people on my
There
stands
you
and
go.
stalls.
Boom. Consider it done.
Authors have got to help out authors.
That's it. I'll do
Definitely.
that. I'll make a note of that right now because my brain. I'm so old now. I have to make notes.
Yeah. I find myself doing that in my phone a lot, making notes of things that I need to remember. Once I hit 43, I'm like, I'm starting to get old man brain and forgetting to do stuff.
I scare people with my calendar.
Yeah.
I
No.
do genuinely scare people with my calendar on my phone when they go, "Oh, let me just check my calendar." I go, "That calendar has nothing on it compared to absolutely nothing."
And I just realized recently, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't realize this recently because go through Ingram Spark. I realized that you can select a location of where they print it and ship it. Meaning, I don't have to send books to America for $40.
Yeah, you can do it.
I can print it from America and ship it there, and it's even cheaper to print it there.
Oh, so that's why
Did Amazon-
you had free
Free
shipping
shipping,
to the US,
free shipping to the
UK,
US.
and
Yeah, US.
because I
Yeah,
remembered you complaining about how much it costs to ship internationally, and then I saw that, and I'm like, what is he doing? Is he gone? Is he one
Yeah.
of those the warehouses have gone completely mad. Let's, get rid of all copies. But no, that makes sense.
No, and for anyone listening, like if like I'll do mates rates discounts if you're like a reviewer or a booktuber or anything like that, hit me up and I'll ship it to you at cost instead of, having to, because I just upped it a little bit so I can actually make some money from it.
Yeah, you have to. No, you have to. You have to
Yeah.
look after yourself because there's no point in selling getting them to buy your book and then paying what they've paid for the book in shipping to get it to
Yeah.
them. Then you're not making anything.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have to.
I mean, I'm complete. I know it's an unrealistic dream, but I want to write as many books as I can so that eventually I can live off of just what's in the book, spend
Mhm.
time at home with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's it.
that's the goal. We want to be authors for a reason, and if you
Yeah.
keep giving every single person who's the slightest bit interested H rate,
Yeah.
you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. That's it.
Your
Yeah.
book's worth it. Your book is worth the full price.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like
It's why
if
you
I
set.
like a book, I will pay no matter, like, obviously not hundreds of dollars, but if I like a book and it's $50, which includes shipping, like 35 for the book, 15 for shipping, I'm happy to pay that
Yeah.
because I like it. Like I've always, except for Ancora, which I'm waiting for the hardcover because I'm going to buy it directly from Jamie so he gets the money.
Yeah.
I've paid for all of Jamie's books, the Emu Wars multiple times
There's 4
because
covers.
of I'm one of those guys. I need every single cover, and if it changes, I need to have that. But yeah, I like because it's I've gotten pretty much every book that I've wanted to read from an author that we've had on this podcast, I have paid for
Yeah.
because some people say I'll send it to you for free. I appreciate that, and I will read it. But then when it comes out physically, I will
I'll
buy
buy
it
it.
as
Yeah.
well.
I mean,
So
I call them my book trophies because I'll read it on Kindle first,
yeah.
so that the author gets the X amount
Mm.
Hmm.
that they get from an ebook. If I love it that much, I will buy the physical copy as a book
Yeah.
trophy.
Exactly.
You know, it stays in pristine condition on my
Hmm.
shelf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
That's
no,
me.
I've got it there.
I've got Kindle Unlimited, which most of the authors we talk to have books on Kindle Unlimited. I read it, and then if I like it, I will buy it. Whether that be because I do have like my Kindle on my iPad, my Kindle app is just filled with books that
Yeah,
I've bought. And then I will buy, if I really, really like it, I'll get the physical copy as well. But I fully believe in supporting authors that do
yeah.
amazing work. That's
I,
all, especially you.
I mean,
No, definitely.
I know that Neil's told you all about my Kindle.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know he's already told you what's, he opens up and there's a wall of abs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that picture and it had like Ancora up the top and then just shirtless men all around it.
Yeah, you have no idea how hard it was to pick a book to take off my library for that book.
Well, I appreciate it.
I had to sacrifice one of my ab covered books
Oh.
for Ancora.
Well, it's greatly appreciated. All right. Let's wrap it up. Thank you for joining us, Rebecca Cassells.
Thank you very, very much for joining
Anytime.
us
Thank you
again.
for having me back, guys. It's felt like too long.
Yes,
I've
definitely.
had the pleasure.
And you need to come on, if you come on one more time before your husband, you have been on more times with me than your husband has been. So.
You won't be happy with that.
We'll hurry up
Won't be happy with that.
hurry up and finish the Chris book and then
and then we won't tell him about it from now, and then you'll finish it, and we'll get him on for when you're launching it, and he'll go, "What book?" And you're like, "I've just
Yeah.
written a book for you, Chris."
Yeah. I know he has got the first 2 chapters. I don't know if
Okay.
he's read them. I don't know. I've
No,
not had
no,
any feedback.
No, because I passed it on to him and he said he read it.
Okay.
Okay.
But he's like that. He's like,
Look, he worked. He's pretty much on call 24/7, and he has a young child as well. So I think his memory, and the amount of stuff that he needs to know for his job, it
Yeah.
pushes other little stuff out a lot. So I think that's probably why he forgets a lot of things. And he's busy
Honestly,
creating amazing D&D campaigns for us as well. So
Yeah.
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 I'll leave you guys to that.
Yeah. Anyway, now normally I tell people to check out Rebecca Cassells and of the Rising Dawn series and all that, but you're here now, so you can do it for us if you want. Do you want to plug anything you want to plug?
Yeah, check it out, guys. Come on. Come on. It's the Rising Dawn trilogy. Go buy that first. You've got 1 week to read that. Okay. Read the Rising Dawn trilogy. Read Accepting the Unacceptable. Read Innocence Corrupted. Get all your smut out of the way. And then come and read something that'll make you cry.
I like that. That should be the tagline of the book. Come and read something that'll make you cry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's yeah, guys, it's very easy and simple for me to say, come and read it. But honestly, I've written this book for me more than anyone else. If anyone else wants to read it, it's just a bonus at this rate.
Yeah.
I will go back to the Rising Dawn trilogy and finish the other 5 books I've got to write for that. I've got the MC trilogy, I've got this trilogy, and now I've got the Succubus one. So yeah, guys, go follow me on Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, X, for all your updates on where I'm at with all those ones, because there's lots more to come.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
check out our other sponsor, Martin Kearns, while you're at it. Read my stuff.
How dare you?
If you want, get all Rebecca's stuff out of the way first, and then go read some badass urban fantasy. Yeah, and yeah, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com if you want to reach out, and we'll catch you next time.
See you next time.
Yeah.